right, welcome to News 6 Extra. I am Christopher Heath. It is Wednesday, August the 20th. Sun is shining. We have a hurricane way off our coast. Kathleen is here. God is in his heaven and all is right with the world. Right?
That's right. That's right. How are you, Chris?
I'm good. Every Wednesday, there's always at least one person who's like, hump day. And I keep thinking to myself, has any marketing firm gotten more traction out of one single ad than that Geico one with the camel walking around going, new day is what day? you know?
I know. That's stuck. And it's been several years since that first came out.
I think it's like going on decade plus at this point,
Maybe,
and
yeah.
it's just embedded in my mind. Can I remember, say, off the top of my head, important dates, say in my marriage or my kids' lives? No. Do I remember that ad almost line for line? Yeah, I do.
Well, that's how you know it was a success in the marketing world, I guess, but...
Oh, my great goodness. Yeah, that was a good one. So anyway, well, I mentioned the hurricane off of our coast. This is the time of year when we start looking at what happens off the coast of Africa and all of those little cells getting together and merging into something. And we call them invest this and invest that. And then if they become strong enough, all of a sudden we attach a name to them. Right now we got Hurricane Erin out there, and Candace Campos has the very latest on what it means for us and our forecast going forward.
I'm News 6 Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. For your Wednesday, Erin still remains a little more than 400 miles away out over the Atlantic. It's still going to continue to pick up the breeze, bring in a couple scattered showers, primarily along our coastline for today. But speaking of the coastline, that's really where the hazardous conditions will remain. We're talking rough surf, beach erosion, even some possible coastal flooding in the mix. So looking at the wind gusts for the next few hours, this is just kind of a snapshot of what we can experience between now and about 5 or 6 o'clock this evening, with wind gusts upwards about 15 to 20, 25 miles per hour out of the north. Now, we are not going to be impacted by any means with Hurricane Erin, but at the end of the day, we are going to be influenced a bit as we're still tapping into a big old plume of dry air that is all being created from the hurricane. So it basically sucks in all that moisture to keep it developing and keep it at that strength of 110 miles per hour. So it's going to create almost a void of moisture, which is why rain chances for today will be a bit lower. And also the reason why it doesn't feel as humid and sweltering as it normally does. So as we look here at the forecast over the next couple of days, it could regain Category 3 strength as it moves over some slightly warmer waters, a little less wind shear, and then the jet stream finally picks it up and sends it on its way. Eventually could become post-tropical storm by then. Looking at the wave height, still will be sending in some big time wave energy along our coastline. For instance, areas for boaters could see waves upwards about 14 feet, as our wind gusts could reach about 35 miles per hour. But even for beachgoers, the hazards are also in place, as we are going to be seeing some large breaking waves, minor beach erosion. Some of those breaking waves could start to kind of erode some of the coastal areas. So that's something we're going to be watching, especially during high tides. So here's your high tide schedule. You can see the next round for today will be between about 6:30 and about 6:47 this afternoon and into the evening. And then it does take a few hours to kind of bring that tide back down. During especially those high tide cycles, Flagler County is also under an advisory, but this is called a coastal flood advisory. This is not due to rain, but overall the inundation of some of those strong waves crashing against the beaches there, possibly moving into some of those low-lying roads right off the water. So as we take it here hour by hour, so you can kind of plan out your Wednesday, besides all the coastal hazards, the weather's not looking too bad today. Highs in the mid-90s, rain chance about 40%. So let's show you here clouds and rain futurecast. Still watching for a couple scattered showers, kind of pinwheeling around the overall kind of spin that is being created and generated by Erin. You can see by 5, 6 o'clock. We can't rule out the chance of some pockets of some quick moving tropical downpours, but overall the severe weather threat still very, very low for today. Then as we head into Thursday, you can see a lot more action will start to fuel up as we see more of that typical sea breeze pattern really kick-starting. Quick check on the tropics. Again, we have still Category 2 Hurricane Erin. We have another wave with a 60%. Doesn't look very impressive in the last couple of model loops here as the satellite scans, and then we are watching that other area now with a 40% chance of potential development within the next 3 to 7 days. And this is also the same area that's has now been designated an invest, so it's an area that we'll be continuing to investigate. We get those computer models a couple times a day. Looks like we could have a short-lived tropical system out over the Atlantic. Plenty of things to watch, nothing really to be too concerned about at this point in time, but we are looking at rain chances on the rise as we head into the weekend, which is also during a big race there at Daytona.
Eric Von Aken came into the newsroom this morning and said it kind of feels like it's fall. I think Eric and I judge things on a much different standard, but it is crisper out there. But this is, of course, by degrees. I mean, we're not dealing with 300% humidity and 95 degrees at 5 a.m. It's only 75 degrees and 90% humidity at 5 a.m. thanks to what Erin's doing to our weather. But up and down the coast, one of the things we're keeping an eye on is not only beach erosion, but those surf conditions, and of course, wave height. In Brevard County, they're monitoring this very closely. Brevard saying, they're going to fly the red flag and we're recommending people to stay out of the water, but they don't think they're going to see too much beach erosion. Here you're looking at Flagler County, and Flagler County, much like Brevard, flying the red flag, telling people stay out of the water. If you do venture in, stay as close as you can to one of those manned lifeguard stations. Really, this is going to churn up the water. We're going to see waves as high as 10 feet. We're going to see rip currents out there. This is a pretty rough day to be out in the water. If you want to go to the beach and enjoy the beach, maybe stay really close to the coast. Yeah, but you start to get out there, where it starts to get a little harder to touch the bottom. You get past about your waist level. Now you're getting into the water out there, and that's when you got to start paying attention. So, right now is the time of year, especially with the storm going by. Maybe if you go to the beach, be as safe as you possibly can, because the conditions out there are not going to improve until Erin moves on out. One of the stories we have been following for the last couple of days has been the attack on the Seminole Wekiva Trail. A woman out for a run is attacked on the trail. A suspect arrested a short time later. In fact, the suspect will go before a judge here in a couple of hours. Mark Lehman has the very latest on this case.
I'm News 6's Mark Lehman, and we're in Seminole County, where the suspect in Monday's sex attack here on the Seminole Wekiva Trail is set to face a judge this afternoon. That arrest came after deputies say they increased patrols and surveillance here in this area. 20-year-old Patrick Gamache is waking up in the Seminole County Jail after deputies say he's the man who sexually attacked a woman on the Seminole Wekiva Trail Monday afternoon. A witness calling 911 after hearing the victim's cry for help.
Yeah, I need police and medical. There's a woman been assaulted on a trail behind my work.
The Seminole County Sheriff's Office previously sharing a picture of the man they were looking for, along with a photo of an electric scooter and red shirt left behind. According to deputies, the woman passed by Gamache on the trail when he turned around and grabbed her from behind. That's when detectives say he pulled her towards the woods and raped her.
We were surprised. We're saddened. We see a lot of single ladies out here.
People along the trail were shaken by what happened, saying it's a reminder to stay alert.
We just have to be careful out here. Women really need to be with somebody.
The victim, meanwhile, is being recognized for her courage through the traumatic attack. Sheriff Dennis Lima releasing a statement saying in part, her strength in recounting the details gave our detectives the critical information they needed to swiftly identify, locate, and apprehend the suspect. Sheriff Lima also commended his detectives for their commitment in securing justice. As for the suspect in this, an initial search found no criminal history in Seminole County. He's set to face a judge this afternoon. In Seminole County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
You may remember last month there was a woman attacked on the Econ Trail. That's in Orange County. That happened in July. The Orange County Sheriff's Office, we've been in contact with them. The Sheriff's Office is still trying to locate that suspect. Part of our reporting on this, Catherine Silver, our Seminole County community correspondent, actually spoke to some members of the local running organization, Track Shack. And Track Shack does a program for runners which describes the various safety that you need to keep in mind when you're out there. I myself am an avid runner, and it's important for all runners. Doesn't matter your age, gender, anything, to be aware when you're out running and be aware of your surroundings. And when you can, run in a group for safety. Maybe to have somebody to chat to over those long miles, but be aware, especially when you're out on those trails where you're not necessarily as visible to homes and other things around you. So, moving from Seminole County up to Marion County, this story is one that is getting a lot of traction online with people just trying to figure out exactly what's going on here. According to the sheriff's office, a man purposefully turned on his water sprinklers because he didn't like that there was a bus stop and kids getting off the bus near his home, spraying some of these kids with water. Stephanie Rodriguez has this report.
I'm Stephanie Rodriguez reporting from News 6. We're getting a look at new video showing the moment Marion County deputies say a man purposely turned on his sprinklers to soak the disabled children living next door. Deputies say the 61-year-old man admitted to being upset about their school bus stop location and to aiming those sprinklers on purpose. This went on for so long that their dad started wearing a bathing suit to protect them from the water. The family says for nearly 2 years, Antonio Roman did this. Turned on the water just as their two special needs children got on and off the school bus. When detectives confronted Roman, they say he admitted to doing it because he didn't like that they used part of his driveway to put down the wheelchair ramp. The whole thing leaving neighbors in shock.
I don't really understand. I don't get it.
And also how vulnerable, to think he was spraying water on, people with disabilities.
Yes, that's not nice. You can't do that to a kid.
The Marion County Sheriff's Office says their investigation began last August, and on several occasions, an undercover deputy observed the sprinkler spraying the school bus and turning off seconds after it would pull away.
After he left, you would see the the floor wet and that there's water there. So I'm like, where's this water coming from?
Investigators say on non-school days, the sprinklers never turned on. We even found a civil lawsuit filed by Roman against the victims, saying the bus blocks his driveway. Roman is now being charged with battery on a disabled person. As part of his bond, he's not allowed to use his sprinkler system at all. In the studio, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
All right. We'll be right back. And welcome back to News 6 Extra. I am Christopher Heath. One of the things that our state has been trying to do to deal with the number of homeless people in Florida is to pass a series of laws. One of them that was passed a couple of sessions ago basically gets rid of outdoor camping. It does a couple of things. One, it restricts people being able to sleep outside in public spaces. It also goes a step further and opens up civil penalties to municipalities if they don't enforce the law. So businesses essentially can sue the cities. As a result of this, city by city, county by county across Florida have moved to institute their own ordinances to comply with state law. Now, a News 6 investigation found in Orange County what ends up happening in a lot of these situations is that to enforce the law, well, you have to go in, and if you can't make people move, you have to arrest them. And if there's nowhere to go with the shelters, they sometimes end up in jail. Now, this has already cost Orange County millions of dollars. Of course, Orange County is the largest county in Central Florida, but as city by city has to comply with this law, the question remains, where do some of these people go if there aren't enough shelter beds, or if there are but they don't want to go there? The downstream effects are ones that cities are starting to wrestle with. As Angie Casada explains, one more city is trying to figure it all out.
I'm Angie Casada in Volusia County, where the city of Daytona Beach says enforcement would be the last resort for camping in public. But if police do pick someone up, they say there's an alternative to jail, and that's a safe zone here at First Step Shelter. The new ordinance would ban camping in public spaces across Daytona Beach. It's required under Florida's new anti-camping law. For local shelters, the change will require the shelters to work even closer with the city.
We have a shelter, which is a program for people who we help go into housing, and then we also have what's called the Roseanne Tornator Safe Zone. The way that the safe zone works is if an officer in any of our partner cities see a person who is committing a minor ordinance violation, instead of taking them over to the jail and going through all the expense and processing and hassle of jailing a person, they can actually just bring them out to our safe zone, and they can stay here overnight.
The safe zone offers a bed, a meal, and a chance to connect people to services. In Orange County, a News 6 analysis found more than 70 arrests this year for the charge of camping prohibited. The cost, $144 a day, with Orange County spending more than $4 million to house and treat those arrested.
I mean, what are they supposed to do? We're arresting a bunch of people who don't have a home. We're releasing them back onto the street, still with no home. And we're criminalizing the fact that they don't have a home to go to. And so what are we doing?
Now, we reached out to the Volusia County Jail for a statement. They say it's too early to know what that impact will be, but ensure that their focus is safety and security for their employees and inmates. Of course, you can learn more about this story and our investigation over on clickorlando.com. Reporting in Daytona Beach, I'm your Volusia County community correspondent, Angie Casada, News 6.
And one of the legal questions that the country has been wrestling with for several years has been, can you criminalize being homeless? In other words, can you make it a crime to not have a place to go home at the end of the night? Can you make it a crime that you don't have enough money to afford a place to stay overnight? And this actually came to a head back in 2024 in Oregon. City of Grants Pass versus Johnson was the case. And the question turned on, is this an Eighth Amendment violation to put in civil or criminal penalties if somebody is homeless? And the Supreme Court said it does not violate the Eighth Amendment, which is cruel and unusual punishment. So because of that, we've seen downstream many cities trying to find ways to creatively encourage people to get off the streets. Extraordinarily complicated issue, whether you're looking at Orlando or you're looking at New York City or DC or Los Angeles or San Antonio, take your pick. Every major American city is dealing with this right now, and so we'll see what comes of this. All right, we're getting rid of the penny. That's something that's been talked about for a long time. I mean, you see people all the time walking down the street and there'll be a penny on the ground. They don't even bother to pick it up. It costs more to make a penny these days than the penny's actually worth. And let's be honest here. Coins, cash, how many of us actually carry it around anymore? Well, because cash is not really something we carry, something we have with us, a lot of people are getting rid of it. And one of the places that's getting rid of it is our toll system across Central Florida. In fact, as Jana Manahalal reports, cash is gone.
It is the end of an era here in Central Florida for drivers who are used to using cash tolls on State Road 417 at tolling plazas just like this one. I'm News 6's Jana Manahalal, and I'm going to break down exactly how this will affect your drive.
For decades, drivers on State Road 417 have had the option of pulling over and paying cash for tolls. But today, those cash tolls are being phased out for good. Electronic tolling is now the future, with systems such as transponders like ePass and SunPass and license plate cameras.
I want to show you this. It looks like the cash toll system that drivers are used to seeing is actually already sealed off. And I'll bring you a little bit closer just so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Drivers would typically drop their coins right here. Their change would pop up right here, and they drive right through, heading that way.
The updated technology will catch your plates or e-passes even if you try to avoid them. Crew workers who were at this tolling plaza told me that even if one system goes down, there are multiple ways to make sure drivers are being charged the right amount. But drivers like Alicia Smith are already using the e-pass.
I mean, how long has it been for you since you've used cash?
A long time. I just go by.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you feel about, them getting rid of the cash tolls?
I mean, it don't really bother me because I just go by. I mean, it'd probably be a lot easier, but I just go by.
So what do you do if you're used to paying the cash toll? Get a SunPass or Easy Pass, or the bill that ends up in your mail from plate cameras may cost you more than expected. In Orange County, your community correspondent, Shayna Manahalal, News 6.
All right, Kathleen, do you have you ever paid cash tolls? Honestly, I was thinking about this when Jana was doing this story. I don't know that I've ever paid a cash toll in my life.
If I have, it's been a really long time ago. I have the e-pass and I just go right through them. So maybe, but it's been a while.
Yeah, you have to imagine that. I mean, I think I remember talking to Raquel Asa over at the Expressway Authority, and she was saying something like less than 2% of their customers that use their system pay in cash. Like it's just a diminishing number, and so this makes sense. Listen, and then if you can open up more of these gantries where people can just breeze on through and not have to stop and put in the coins, it keeps traffic moving. And plus, again, nobody's using cash.
Right. Very rarely do I have cash. So
I was gonna say,
makes sense.
I've got to the point where I'll leave my wallet out, like on my desk here at work, like because if other than it's got my couple credit cards in it, and my debit card. I guess that's not good, but it's not like you could rifle through it and take cash out because there's no cash in it.
No, I'm the same way. There's no cash.
So I probably shouldn't tell people I leave my wallet on my desk. I don't do that. That's a lie.
Okay.
All right. So our last story here. You and I were discussing this one beforehand. This is a new take on matchmaking. There's nothing really new in the world anymore. We just recycle old things and call them new things. But this is essentially what you're pitching for a friend. What is this? This is...
It's kind of like speed dating, but not.
Okay.
So basically, you get one of your friends. If you're a single person and you're looking for love, don't get on the apps. You get your friend. They go to these clubs, get on stage, and they basically present everything about you. Only the good things, though. They just talk you up, kind of, in hopes of finding someone who is interested in you. And apparently, it works in some cases, I guess.
So we've given up on Match.com and Bumble and Tinder, and we're now we're back to in person. We're done with, yeah.
Right. What's old is new again. Now we're back to face-to-face meeting,
What a concept.
What
you
a
mean
concept.
actually in the flesh zone, meeting people in real life.
I know, and actually talking to them.
Such a thing. All right, let's roll the package from Jared Hill. We'll talk about this on the other side.
Last one. Is John like a lovable guy?
In the search for romance,
My best friend doesn't have time to waste.
the wingman is taking center stage.
She puts the cutie in social justice.
It's called Pitch and Pair.
You get to pitch your bestie in front of all of these single people.
33-year-old Joe Teblum launched the idea about a year ago.
It all kind of started with myself being shy and having a lot of shy friends within the tech space, and them being a great catch, but not really a good fit for like a lot of the dating apps.
Research shows millennials and Gen Zers have been moving away from online dating. Eventbrite shows a 42% spike in in-person dating and singles events between 2022 and 2023. Ellen Kilgo's friend Robin is pitching her tonight.
If you need something, Ellen shows up.
I want people to know who she is as a person and how much love her friends have for her.
They offer something that dating apps don't, and that's presence.
Dr. Sabrina Romanoff is a psychologist specializing in relationships and life transitions.
We love watching people talk about their closest relationships when they don't have a direct pony in the race.
She says that external seal of approval, whether backed by a PowerPoint or just in conversation, can help foster connection.
Individual feels vetted, right? Like you're meeting through a friend of a friend.
Tublum says Pitch and Pair is stacking the social calendar. Love connections yet?
Yeah, so we do get a lot of dates, first dates, second dates, third date follow-ups.
No wedding bells, but you can't hurry love. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Love on the rocks, ain't no surprise. Pour me a drink and I'll tell you some lies.
Oh my gosh. You're
Neil
good
Diamond,
with the
everybody.
you're good with
Neil
the
Diamond.
song lyrics.
It's all it's up here. So this is basically like a blind date. Like this is like, hey, Kathleen, listen, I've got this friend of mine, Dave. He's a cool dude. You'll like him. Like it's the same basic thing, right? It's like you're meeting someone through friends.
Right.
Right?
Right. That's
Except-
kind of how it is. But it's almost like they're like pitching you like a marketing. They're like putting you out there, like here's what's good about her. But I mean, does anybody ever get up there and say the bad things?
Right?
Yeah. I wonder.
Like here's Eric. His body odor is above reproach. I don't. I guess. I mean, listen. Who am I to disparage people trying to find a honest connection in this crazy world of ours?
That's very true. Any way you can.
Exactly. It's all about connection. And, if you find it online, if you find it through joining a bowling league or a book club or something, as long as you're happy, right?
Right. That's what
seems,
it's about.
It just seems weird to me, but a lot of things seem weird to me. And I'm growing into the age of just shaking my fist at things. And being,
Yeah, no,
it's fine.
I hear you. I hear you on that one. Sometimes I am too. I don't know if I would be comfortable doing that. But hey, if
which
it works,
end? Being presented or being the presentor?
I could do the presenting of a friend, but I wouldn't want to be presented. I think
would
I'd feel
trust you with that.
uncomfortable.
I would trust you with that. I mean, I'm happily married. I don't need to go out. But let's just say that you have a very good, wholesome, nice personality about you. I think people would trust that you were selling them a good bill of goods, and then they'd meet me and be like, "That Kathleen is a bull-faced liar."
I don't think so.
High praise indeed. Okay, that's the end for News 6 Extra. It's been an adventure. We had some laughs, had some fun. We learned about tropical storm, or I guess it's still Hurricane Erin doing its thing. We learned about presenting your friends and everything in between. Kathleen, thank you, as always. Thank you to Candace Campos, and thank you for watching News 6 Extra. We'll be back here tomorrow to do this all over again. I won't be here. I've got commitments at the university, but I will be back here on Friday to do this. I think Lisa Bell will be here tomorrow, so that should be fun. Other than that, we break news all the time on clickorlando.com, so check that out. And, of course, we'll be on the air and online starting today at 4 o'clock for News 6. So have a great Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. I'll see you back here on Friday. Bye.